Dang, the light is red. Welcome back, Mustang family. I should say welcome back to us because we've been gone too. We've been on summer vacation. Dusty's been surfing.
Yep.
I've been on road trips, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, New Orleans. But I'm Isaiah Guzman. I'm your host here of Mind of the Mustang with your athletic director, Dusty Moniz. And yeah, we've been gone for a while. I think we've been gone not only the summer, but I think we stopped doing, our last episode was somewhere toward the end of last year. And like we said from the start, we ain't professionals. We're just, we're doing this thing. We're just guys talking about sports and Jesus and making fun of ourselves. And hopefully in the process, helping you to get to know the people of the Monte Vista community. And maybe there's even a nugget in there for you from the Lord, right? You never know. So we got a guest today. I'll let you know who it is right off the bat, but we got Coach Maurice Mann, Coach Mo. And so some of you already know, if you're in the football world here, if you play for the football team, you already know him. If not, I guess you guys are just a couple weeks into the school year, right? People probably know of him, but maybe don't know him. So this is going to be a chance for everybody to get to know him a little better and to hear about what's going on with this new sports training stuff you got going on here, right?
Yeah, You can take your speed and your game up to the next level.
Nice.
For all our athletes.
Before we do, you should at least, like, people probably forgotten even who you are, Dusty, right? Dusty Moniz is your athletic director, people, and he's got a dog.
Correct.
He's got a big old, what is it, Labradoodle?
No, Aussie.
Or what, right. And if you haven't seen it, you probably heard it barking from his house when he's not home.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. He's not well behaved.
What'd you do? Give us a snapshot of what you did this summer, at least, you know?
Me? A lot of preparation for the school year. Athletic directors, maybe sometimes the summer is actually kind of busier in some ways, but was able to get away a few times. And yeah, a lot of surfing, a lot of being with family, friends. It was great.
That's cool. That's cool, man. Yeah, it's always weird. I guess I'm a teacher, so I'm off. So it's like you're living these two lives. The summer, it's like you forget you're even a teacher. I'm just a dad and a husband, and then it's like, boom, you're back in it. You know? 100%. It's like 0 to 100. But we're in the podcast room here at Monte Vista upstairs in the gym, and this place has been revamped. So shout out to whoever redid this thing.
It was Mr. Cleffer.
Was it Cleffer?
Yeah.
Shout out Cleffer. This place is tight. I like it. It's like, it looks like the cool podcast that I see on YouTube. So maybe we are getting better, right?
Yeah.
You're saying like this is like a chill room for guys that hang out and talk. So it's like, this could be more than a podcast room. This could be where we hang out and talk till like 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're back, and I'll share a quick little Devo before we get started, and then just give the stage to Mo. But what's up, Mo?
Hey, hello guys. Glad to be here.
He's here. He's chilling on the couch.
Yeah, chilling.
But I just really quick, something I was reading in Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, a couple weeks ago, and I just thought it was so fitting. I mean, I think it was the Lord speaking to me for my life, my own life, to just find contentment and rest and to just be focused and present where I am. And that's hard for me to do sometimes because there's always something else as human beings that we want out there, right? But I think he's always got whatever he's got for us right here, right in front of us, if we're willing to like stop striving and just be present, you know? So 2 Chronicles 14, 1-6. And so, I might mess up some of these Old Testament names, but it's Asa, King Asa succeeds Abijah in Judah. So starting in verse 1, it says, So Abijah lay down with his fathers, which means he died, and they buried him in the city of David. And his son Asa became king in his place. The land was undisturbed for 10 years during his days. And other translations say that like they had peace, right? No war. And Asa did what was good and right in the sight of the Lord his God. For he removed the foreign altars and high places, tore down the memorial stones, cut down the Asherim, and commanded Judah to seek the Lord God of their fathers and comply with the law and the commandment. He also removed the high places and the incense altars from all the cities of Judah, and the kingdom was undisturbed under him. He built fortified cities in Judah, since the land was undisturbed, and there was no one at war with him during those years, because the Lord had given him rest. And I just love that because I feel like for me, like God was just speaking to me and like always looking, Mirtha and I have talked about moving away and different things many times. And just 4 things stood out to me. The first one was that, in finding rest, there's a few things he had to do. The first one is he had to remove the idols. And idols can be anything that you worship or put ahead of God. and those took natural resources and time too, right? To build these Ashura poles and these high places, it takes time and it takes resources, right? And we can do that with our idols. We can give them way more time and resources than we need to sometimes on a practical level, money, whatever, you know? And then the other one is that they sought the Lord. They made it a point to seek the Lord, whatever that looks like, in their time of putting things aside, and I'm going to spend time seeking the Lord and his will for my life. And then the other thing is that they carried out you seek the Lord, he gives you instruction. And then the last thing was that they carried out his instructions and his commands. And it said because of that, because the land had rest, the big part that stood out to me is he was able to build fortified cities. And I think like for myself right now in my life, it's like Mirth and I have been talking about things for a while, about starting a gathering of believers or just really building the kingdom of God here in Watsonville. And it's like when you can put the other things to rest and you can be present and you don't have those distractions, you can focus on where you're at and you can really start building whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Could be building a house, could be building a community, could be building a sports program, could be building a football team. But like the only way to do that is to stop looking on the other side of the fence. And I'm preaching to the choir right now, I'm preaching to myself, and just be present where you're at. And so I was just thinking like how fitting, you know, as you're Dusty, you're trying to build these sports programs here, right? You're trying to bring these sports programs up to a high level again. And I think that you've been so present and 100% in on your job and doing that. And I think it's fitting too, as Monte Vista celebrates 100 years, like a place like this doesn't get built when you're half-hearted going for it, right? People were all in over and over and over and over again, generation after generation, and you get what you get now, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, I'll tell you this, and, you know, we're going to introduce, you're going to read a little bit about Coach Mo and his bio and stuff like that, but I will say this, I do things right, do things wrong as an athletic director. I feel like God has given me the ability to build things. I mean, I've seen that in my career. But I pray before we go and hire somebody, or and doesn't mean we always get it right and stuff like that, but I pray that God would just bring the right people to build alongside of us, and that it's not like, you know, you can be distracted by a lot in athletics, but like that it would be his person, that it would play out the way he wants Monte Vista to be in the future. Because ultimately we know that will be the thing that keeps the school around for another 100 years. So yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Good word.
We won't be around in 100 years, but you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. Probably not. 147.
I don't know.
But the legacy though will live on, guys. It's going, you know, not to jump in, but
yeah.
I think I'm really fortunate, man, to be here. So I just want to say that, man, to start off with, and I appreciate, Isaiah, what you just got done saying, because that really hits home. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, honestly, there is really a time for everything, right? And you know, I think this was my time to really be here. I prayed on it a lot, like more than I've ever prayed, I think, right? Because it's a big transition, though, for me, especially with what I felt like I had a calling to already be doing. You know, I felt like I was already walking like in where God wanted me to be. And I think in this transition with Dustin, it takes leadership, man, to move me, right? And that's why I follow God. I trust my leadership, right? So where I was awesome, but where I'm at now, I couldn't have picked a better opportunity or a better place to be, right? And I'm not just talking about Dustin. I'm talking about, you know, the people on campus, right?
Yeah.
Like how I'm treated. You know, I thought I'd be looked at because, you know, we spoke about the appearance and, you know, and all the other things, right, in terms of my tattoos and, you know, how I talk. But I know that not everybody has to sound like, you know, a preacher, and not everybody has to come from, you know, a background that, you know, was straight out of the church. But I know 100% when I believe in something and when people are like invested in God, I can feel it, you know, and it really feels like people are really not just here preaching, but they're really invested in making people better and being around better people. So I'm grateful. Right.
It's cool. Amen. That's a perfect segue, because of what I was going to say, obviously introduce like your story, but like I don't know much about you, but I saw a teeny little social media video before you came here. I saw on your Instagram or something, and you were speaking, and all I felt was like you weren't coming here yet. But all I know you had interviewed for the job here, but you weren't coming here. And I watched the video and I just thought, Monta Vista needs this guy here. That's what I felt. I said, and I can't even tell you exactly why. I don't know why. It's just something that I sense. I'm like, so I'm sure you're blessed to be here, but I just sense like this place needs this guy. And I don't know. So whatever you think is different about you or whatever you thought like you were concerned with or might stand out is like exactly what this place needs right now.
Appreciate that.
For sure. So you're in the right place as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, man. So we'll break it down, then we'll hand it over to you. But so Mo went to Monterey High, graduated in 2000. From there, went to MPC, Monterey Peninsula College, which is a junior college, and then on from there to the University of Nevada, Reno, and was later, I forget which year, but drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know if you said which year. You remember?
2004.
2004. Then spent some years as basically journeyman wide receiver in the NFL. And then after that, basically found your kind of long-term spot was in the CFL, the Canadian Football League, right? And then did all that, and you're going to share some of your story, but then eventually God brought you back here to Stevenson, back to the Monterey Bay. You live down in Marina. Yeah. Got your wife, your kids. You're living on campus now.
Super blessed.
Yeah, man. So how about, you said, what'd you say? Like there's like the 1%ers, and then you said like, as far as going to JUCO and then going on to the NFL is pretty rare, right? You said it's like 0.3%.
Yeah, it's 0.3 something 5, right? 0.035. Like there's a very slim though percentage of people that make it out, but like I really though believed, my dad was always about though believing and manifesting, right? So I was in church from a young age, and we kind of bounced around churches, but my father did a good job of instilling a certain way of thinking, right? So there was nothing I really never I always felt like I can do whatever, man, I put my mind to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he used scriptures at times, right, to help me though instill those things, right? But I played in a football game in Las Vegas, man, when I was 12, and we were the smallest kids. And then in that championship game, I scored a touchdown, and it was a wrap, right? It was like I was 12, and I was like, man, I'm playing NFL. There's nothing anybody can ever do to stop me from this, right? And then I feel like I blinked, and I showed up in the NFL with no leadership, no guidance in terms of what to do when I got there.
Yeah.
So like my testimony happened when I got there. You know what I mean? Like as much as I had been in church, and as rough as the former Fort Ord Seaside area used to be, and I remember how proud people were of me getting to that moment. But, my relationship with God had just begun as a 21-year-old black man in Cincinnati, though, for the first time, living all by himself, right? Pockets full of money, right? Like opportunities, like feel like, I went out and bought an old school car, right? Spent a lot of money, just did everything that
everything
I thought
a 21 would do. I guess.
Everything a 21-year-old guy would do, all right? And then I went through, the trials and tribulations of growth, right, as a young man. So I always knew that I was going to coach, right? And I feel like God made me go through that to be able to share that experience with the kids now. You know what I mean? And I've put so many kids in college, I can't even count. You know what I mean? I really have lost count of how many kids I've spoken to and been like, hey, this is how you need to do it, right? Yeah. From Canada, which is where I first got started, right? Which is funny. This 100th year is like the Argonauts, their 100th year was my first professional championship. So whenever we talk about it, like in our kind of, the pre-game teacher moment for Coach Mo, right? And they were talking about the 100 year. I was like, oh yeah, man, we're about to win the championship. We're about to win.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Because I love that 100 number.
Yeah.
So yeah, just blessed, right? So, being on the Cincinnati Bengals, that was an experience, right? Because it was walking into a room of people that you had watched on TV, right? But but learning and experiencing, in a way of where God was teaching me not only, how to handle myself on the football field, but, how to act off the field, right, is way more important, right? The character that you have to have away from the white lines, inside of those football lines, is way more important to keeping your job. And I think I was just blessed because he gave me opportunity after opportunity, and I kept praying and praying. And then I got to Canada, and I was ready to lock in. I think that was 3 or 4 years later, right? I'm a vested like NFL practice team athlete, another blessing, right? So I'm in school, I'm taking my master's, right? And the NFL pays for all of it, right? I'm blessed.
Were you doing that now? You're taking your master's right now?
I'm taking it now, right?
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like everything happens too in like a perfect timing too, because I had just graduated, right? And I'm not sure if I, maybe last year I just finished school, and I wasn't even sure if I needed a degree to have this job, but I heard Prime, right? Coach Dion say, man, how can I, offer any of you trainers out there, any of you guys, opportunities, man, at the next level, if you don't have your college,
True.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed.
Yeah. So when I got drafted, I was like, man, I'm out. I will see you guys later, right? And I'm not looking back.
Yeah.
But just super fortunate, and my wife helped me every step of the way, right? And I love her to death. Alyssa, I love you. Here it is, right? So so blessed.
That's cool, man. That's amazing. How about, really quick, just shout out your family. You guys are living on campus now in the fourplexes.
Yes, sir.
Tell everybody, wife, kids' names, ages. You don't have to give your wife's age, but the kids.
So Alyssa, who I met, random story. The first day I got to Canada, the first day I got off the plane, walked in to the hotel. I'm excited. I'm singing, right? I'm just smiling and stuff. And I see this beautiful woman, man, at the desk. And at the time, I think she's like 20, maybe 20 years of age or something like that. And we're talking, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna marry you, right? I told her that, I was like, man, I'm gonna marry you, right? And then
You're checking in.
I'm checking in to the hotel, right? So, so that kind of happened, right? So anyway, that's another story that I think is special, and I think God though put his hand on us though, because we always kept contact. Even after I traveled from one team to the next team, somehow I would run into, I ran into her at her, she was actually pregnant at the time, right?
Wow.
Right. So I ran into her, man, at her father's wedding, and I was playing a game out there.
Wow.
And I seen her, and we had a game in the lobby. Like, we were downstairs, man, in the lobby, and her the reception was somewhere else. And she came in, and she was like, does anyone know who Mo Man is? Can you find him for me? And then we ended up being in the same elevator.
Wow.
And then we kept the connection all the way through that. All right. Even when you think something's going one way, God is just preparing you for something later on. So
100%.
It was blessed.
Wow.
Right? Super blessed, right? I love that woman though with all my heart.
Yeah.
And then my son is Amari. My stepdaughter, who was in her belly, is Stella. She's the awesome, most artistic, superhuman I've ever met. Mm-hmm. And my first and her first, this is how I knew that we were getting married later on in life. When they started talking, it's like they were missing each other from the jump. They had they couldn't wait to, even as we're doing FaceTime and she's in Canada, because I thought COVID, when COVID happened, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm not marrying you, right? Because the world is ending.
Yeah. This is during COVID. Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I won't see you forever. Yeah. And then, that passed by, and then we were talking on FaceTime, man, every day. And then they met, and then, they love each other like they are the same blood, right? And then Akea, who my youngest is, that she kind of unified the whole house.
Wow.
Right, and she's awesome. So.
Yeah. And ages, again, it was
11, 7, and 1.5.
That's cool.
Going on 40, right? She's a trip.
Does the 11-year-old go here then, Monte Vista?
She will.
She will?
She will.
Oh, yeah, I guess she's still in what? She's in 5th grade right now?
She's 6th
11th,
grade.
6th grade, yeah.
Right? And she's man, she's something else. But she's super smart.
Yeah.
But they're still in Canada, right? I'm still working on getting the citizenship stuff. So they're halfway here and halfway there. So we're still working on that, and it's been about a year and some change, but trying to get her a job here or something, man, so we can get this thing rolling.
Yeah.
Right? But
wait, okay. Did I see your boy on campus
Yeah,
recently?
for sure.
Oh, he was. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Okay, I thought I saw him.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow, man. That's yeah, I was just thinking as you're talking about that stuff, and you're talking about coming to the NFL and not knowing. I mean, you knew the Lord, but maybe you weren't walking it like
For sure.
maturely yet, right? Which
sure.
none of us are at 21, unless
Yeah.
you're, like you said, you're coming straight out of the church, or you know. And
Yeah.
but were there people looking back during that time like that were either other players that were like mentors to you, or coaches or chaplains somewhere, either in the NFL or in Canada? Like, do you remember anybody, like people walking with you, or community, and what really kind of like strengthened or grew your walk with the Lord?
My wide receiver coach, DJ McCarthy, one of the best humans ever put on this earth, right? Was there for me when I was a knucklehead, when I was just, running amok, right? In chapel before the games, in church on Sundays, but the other days, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what was going on, right?
Yeah.
So I battled though with that for a while. Like
Yeah.
I struggled with wanting to look the part outside and then wanting to play the game inside, you know.
Sure.
So it was like that until my wife, right? I feel like it was like, and then Amari, right? And then, growing up, and then I just, like, it was a moment I flipped a switch. And I was like, okay, you're a man now, Mo. You got a couple gray hairs and some stuff. It's time for you to mature. And it just, it just happened. I think the loss, man, of one of my best friends, I went through it. I battled, depression, anxiety, and stressed out. The way he passed was, it's one of those why God moments. You know what I mean? So,
This guy you played with?
Right. Really talented guy, really smart guy. Was friends with everybody though, type of guy. So I took it hard, and I was still playing though at the time, right? I was on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and I made the locker room a toxic environment just because of that situation that I didn't know how to handle. So I pulled it in to the locker room. I got traded, and then I ended up winning the championship, man, the next year, right? Which was crazy. And I'm like, man, God's so real, right? I'm so blessed.
He's
right?
gracious.
He's gracious. Extremely the perfect word.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
People don't realize that, I guess. Like, I mean, I never played at that level, but you're playing on Sunday, and they don't realize, like, there's so many other things going on in your life, right? Anxiety, performing at that level, and just things happening in your personal life, and being young. It's like, I mean, now we're older now. I'm 47, and like I teach fire class sometimes in the evenings. I used to be a firefighter, and like I teach 21-year-olds or 23, 25. I'm like, man, these guys are kids, right?
Yeah,
you think you're older when you're that age, and you're like, dude, these guys are kids. You know what I mean? Like 25-year-olds seem to me now like what high schoolers seemed to me 15 years ago when I first started
for
in high school. You know?
For sure.
And so like there's so much growth that needs to happen. And even still, like you said,
Yeah. It's amazing to me to see how, I mean, we all like, it's funny because I have another buddy who's a professional athlete too, and I think he would, like, if he was sitting here, he'd be like, yep, because and, I even know from just having, played in high school and playing college, it's like a lot of it to me was, and you kind of hit on this already, but is like an identity thing. It's like you get really wrapped up in being this athlete, right? And then what goes along with that, right? And then also when you're 20 years old and you just like kind of meet the Lord, it's just a lot going on at once. How did you feel like what was it like walking through that? Like what was it like? I mean, I something I always think is interesting is like, what is it like to be a professional athlete? Like, what is that actually like? I think that's an interesting question that kids probably have.
For sure.
You have your own time. You decide what you want to do, right? So there's a lot of responsibility in having your own time, but not having your own time, right? Because I've been on a schedule my entire life, right? I've been, when you play a professional sport, they're yours from 7 to 11, right? So there's not a lot of wiggle time though for you to do stuff unless you create it. But being on a practice team, you can get though distracted. You know what I mean? You could figure out ways. It's like, oh man, I'm not playing though this weekend, so let me just go do this. Or you can think about it like, oh, I could be playing very soon. Let me prepare myself.
Let me get locked in, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, being a pro athlete is just, it's similar though to the job I have now. You know what I mean? Just to a sense of like, if you can focus on, some of the bigger picture things, right? Like as opposed to just living in the now so much, right? I think I lived in too much of the now as opposed to just being like, okay, let's prepare myself a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Now, as an athlete, you couldn't tell me. Like when the season finished, I was training like the next day. So I always had the athlete side ready. I always training. Mm-hmm. But there was so much more to it. I just didn't put all of the triangle though together, God, family, and my sport. Yeah. Right. I was just, one was always had a little bit heavier of balance though than the other. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And nutrition too as well. It's a very important piece of it.
100%. I think that's good. A good chance to let's talk about your organization, then Get Better, Get Beat, right? And then,
yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about what that is. And then Dusty, you could talk about like how you're utilizing this dude to get people better here.
So they don't get beat.
So you don't get beat. Exactly. And you clearly, I'm assuming you're the offensive coordinator? Or what? You're working receivers? I didn't even ask that.
Yeah, it's a collective though for us though, cool. Right now though, because I'm still learning a lot. I'm a 100% lifelong learner, right? So I don't know it all, right? So being in this offense, right, I know I can call the system, but I'm entrusting, Joe to be able to help me understand it better, right? And I think, that's what having a chaplain is for, all right? And like on a team, it's like help me understand the Bible better. And this playbook is a Bible. It's a beautiful thing, right? There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
So, cool. You can't just lean into your own understanding of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't, you know what I mean? I entrust the fact that he's going to help me, but I see the game really well. I do, right? I'm really passionate about this game, and I see it extremely well, and I pick it up really, really fast. When someone's doing something, everything is if-then, though, for me. I'm just not just calling something because I like how it looks. I'm calling something because because I'm setting you up, though, for something. I love boxing. I love MMA. I love strategic people, so it's fun to play the sport like I'm, like invested in, okay, here comes the jab, and then as soon as you duck, I'm throwing the hook, right?
Right.
So, I mean, the get better, get beat part is a college prep thing. I said not to switch up.
No, go for it. Yeah, I want to hear about it.
It's a college prep program. I prepared softball players, soccer players. I didn't even think, I came back home, living in the Monterey Bay. It's primarily baseball area. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot of football players. So at the time, it was a situation of like, I'm looking for football guys, but at the same time, I can't find them. So what ended up happening is one of the dads of a softball girl came up to me and said, "Hey, Coach Mo, man, could you train my daughters?" I'm like, man, I sure can, because I'm never going to doubt myself and say I can't. You know what I mean? So I studied a lot about the sport of softball, right? And I'm like, okay, well, a lot of these girls need to move better like a defensive back. So we started doing a lot of footwork stuff, right? Because this was close to the COVID time, so we had to be outside. So we spent a lot of time doing footwork, right? And he was like, man, this is exactly what we need. So like, I have some really, really talented girls. One, Samantha Ray, who plays at the University of Central Florida. I have, Addie, who plays at Oregon. She was, tops in the league. I have a Danae, who just signed to Utah. So my whole
I remember her.
Yeah.
There's a ball she hit that still hasn't landed last spring.
That's
Yeah.
Sorry, quick little side story because it was pretty impressive. I didn't know you trained her.
Yeah.
Bases loaded. Coach on the other team goes, "You guys should walk her." And I'm just listening, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" Bases we're not gonna. Dude, first pitch, bomb, over the cars in the park. Keep going.
No, that's it. All right, and method wise, right? Let me switch it up again. Like method wise, we focus on a lot of rotational movement, right? So we're heavy into the WEC method. We're heavy into central nervous system movements, man. We're heavy into, making people move better, not just bulk stronger, right? I think it was a shift in culture a little bit for some of the football players here. It's like it wasn't just right to, the back squat. It's more like you need to show me that you know how to move first, right? Mm-hmm. And from that foundation, because I'm trying to meet people where they're at. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And genetically, everyone doesn't have what a Danae Lee has. You know what I mean? So she was physical. So, our emphasis was twitch, was speed. It was making her strong to her own accord. But ultimately, it was just if you move better, everything you do is going to be a little bit more fluent, right? Yeah. So she's a special athlete, though. But a lot of them are. There's a long list. I'm probably leaving some people out, but
I'm sure. Can't get them all,
Yeah, can't get them all.
Yeah. Dusty, why don't you break it down then? I know you want to get this out there, right? The training program, you guys.
So, I think one of the hard things to do at a school our size is just kind of get the word out on things. And part of the reason why I wanted this to be the first podcast we did this year is because I really I love, that Coach Mo's an expert in football and he's helping our football team. But what's so cool is that he's here to help everybody, help all our athletes, and he's partnered with Coach Title. And we have a number of trainers on campus. We have Coach Luis for soccer. It's funny, a lot of our coaches are certified trainers. They're ready to help people in the weight room, but Coach Mo and Title are kind of creating these programs, and they're open to anyone who will, the weightlifting is for our high schoolers, right? And they're every day of the week, we have our weight room open after school, and they will give you a program. You'll be with somebody who understands your sport, and you have the opportunity to get better and get stronger. And then also, and this is another huge opportunity, if you can get to school at 7 a.m., you said a little earlier, maybe?
A little 6:45.
Yeah, we may be changing that to 6:45-ish, and then we know it's early, but if that's you and you want to be as fast and as quick and as powerful as you can be, Tuesdays and Thursdays, coaches here with Coach Sedano, and they're gonna put you through an agility workout. And you can talk a little bit more about that if you want, but it's just a huge value, to be honest. I would have killed for this when I was in high school. And I don't know if all of our athletes know what they have here in you and the rest of these awesome coaches who are working to make them better. So I just wanted to encourage you, Mustangs, take advantage of these opportunities because it really is the difference maker for your seasons and for your future if college is something you want to pursue athletically. So.
That's what I was going to ask. Would you say, there's encouraging them to come, but would you say if you want to play at the next level, then this is probably something you need to start doing?
Yeah. And I would just say, don't expect to play at the next level.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there are some situations where I can't be here in the morning or I can't, I'm not, I don't want to put everyone in the same box.
Yeah.
But if you think you're working hard and you want to be a college athlete and you're in your off season, and you're in the gym once a week, you do speed and agility once a month. I'm a baseball guy, right?
Yeah.
Guys think they're grinding because they go to the cage twice a week.
Yeah.
That's not it. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I've been around long enough and I've seen enough to know that if that is your goal, then this is a much more consistent type of workout practice. You got to be doing that stuff. And so we're trying to, as an athletic department, provide that what we are allowed to provide by our league, which is the strength and conditioning, speed and agility. We can't have practices outside of, our season and stuff like that. So just a tremendous opportunity with a true professional, and take advantage of it.
Love it.
Yeah, no, I think, any person that has the mindset to try to outwork somebody, I my whole career, right, not to jump back into the 1960s, but I've always lived off the mindset that I'm gonna outwork everybody, so Amari has to get up, right? He may not like it, but he'll appreciate it later, right? We don't specialize, right? I'm not making him a football player or a basketball player in any sense of the nature. I'm making him an athlete. Right? He doesn't know it yet, right? But the stimulus that I had with two older brothers is different, right? Yeah. If you don't have that, you better figure out though who your other brothers are that may not look like you, but you need to compete versus somebody, So we call it game speed, right? We teach game speed. We teach people to use their physical tools and understand their balance and understanding their kinesthetic, the awareness, man, like how their body moves in space. It's not just a straight line thing, so most good athletes, Kyrie Irving, Messi, right? Yeah. Mbappe, right? They just understand, I may be moving fast to you, but it's not a stress though to me, right? So we got to figure out, how to make athletes explosive, but also how to stop, right? How to recreate that energy again, because that's where we're like, you become special is when, I really got paid because I couldn't get tackled, right? Or at least I wouldn't let one person tackle me. It's going to take two of you guys to bring me down. And once kids start to figure out, how to live in that headspace of like, okay, well, not only is Coach Mo working with me physically, he's talking in a sense that's building my confidence, right? Yeah. So being with us though in the morning is as much a confidence builder as it is a physical builder, right? Because you're up when nobody else is up, right? Yeah. So you got to be able to live in that headspace of like, okay, right, I was here at this school doing something and you guys were sleeping.
100%.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what Kobe used to talk about, and I love that you brought up Messi because I'm a soccer guy. So I was actually wondering, like, before you brought it up, like, what you thought about his movements, because I mean, like, right, like that's what makes him so special. In soccer, they call it like being able to change speeds, right?
Yeah.
Like to be able to you're going and then he can stop on a dime and switch directions, and to be able to, I think you call it like recreating the energy, right? To stop and I mean, Kobe used to talk about that too. Like people ask about what made him so good, and right, he's like, well, he was in the gym every morning at 4 a.m., right? And so
for sure.
So if you're taking 1,000 more shots per week than your competition, that's 52,000 more shots per year over a career. That's how many hundreds of thousands of shots more. And so like people might like, there's obviously natural ability. There's giftedness as far as physical stature. And then there's also like straight hard work. And that's something I was reading from Messi recently too. He said he's Catholic, right? And somebody was asking him about his faith. And he said, he admitted, he's like, I know what I have, this ability that I have is given to me by God. But then I did everything in my power to make sure that I made the most out of that ability that was given to me.
Amen.
And it sounds like that's what you did, and like what you guys kind of want some of these kids to be doing.
For sure. Something I just was thinking about, and I learned this, the last school I was at had the ability to practice all year. It wasn't against, they played independently of the league. So you could do what you wanted to do. So our baseball team, for example, practiced the whole year. We started getting a lot of kids coming to school because of that, right? And it's funny because I always thought in my mind, like, and maybe it was just as a young coach, I categorized kids as like that, I kind of could tell, like, this is probably a college athlete, this is probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time where you showed up in the fall, first day of school, and you started practicing, and you weren't done playing, practicing, lifting, running, whatever, till you left there in the springtime. And I couldn't believe it. I feel like I saw, kids who I would have said had no shot at playing in college become college athletes.
Oh, for sure.
Kids
100%.
who I thought for sure were a D3 or maybe not, like, become a D1 athlete. And, I even got to witness a few guys get drafted, guys who are going to get drafted or get drafted, that type of thing. And, I mean, the work ethic, it's just, I had not seen that at a high school level before, that experience. And, it's not for everybody. That's the thing. It's not for everybody. But for those who want that, that's how it happens.
For sure.
Right?
You know what's funny too? I was saying in this county, I don't know what it is about this county or this area, but specifically the people that I know, I'm sure there's others, but the people that I know who played professional sports, so many of them played junior college. Like you played JUCO, and then Dwight Lowry, we're talking about, he played at Cabrillo before going to San Jose State, right?
Yep.
And then a guy that I played high school baseball with at Soquel, Bo Hart, he went to Cabrillo. He was, I remember I was a freshman, he was a senior, and I saw him. He was the shortstop on varsity, right? And I'm like, okay, he's okay, but like he was definitely not the star in the program. There was other dudes with more talent. Yeah. And he went to Cabrillo, wound up going, I forget where he played after that, but got drafted. He was working at Gottschalk's in the offseason while he was playing minor league baseball and finally got his shot in the majors. But so many of these people, so for you young athletes listening, if you think reps don't matter and you think that other stuff, like those types of workouts don't matter, I think 100% they do. It can, and some of your bodies aren't even fully developed yet. So you got,
for sure.
I mean, we had a kid here, center fielder. He was, I wish he would have been an older senior. Tyler Clark was his name. He was a center fielder.
Could fly, right?
Yeah, and he was a 17-year-old senior. He was one of those kids that started school young, and he was 6'5", and he was probably like 200 pounds. Yeah. And I ran into him like a year and a half later, and he was training to be a firefighter, and he was like probably 230, 240 like muscle, and just seemed taller and bigger. And I'm like, man, like, I mean, he didn't do pro sports, but the point is, like, he put in the work to develop his body and grow, and like he was doing something else that was very physical. And had he done that in high school or been a little bit older, like,
maybe, for sure.
So,
I think the main focus, for us or for me when I'm training an athlete is not to make them the best high school athlete. It's to make them the best 21-year-old athlete, right? Mm-hmm. I'm preparing you for college, but how much, man, you squat in high school is a good stat. Right, but the eye test is already going to be presented when the coach sees you. Right, so if you're 6'5" and you're doing some good things, like in the weight room, you still have to show you still have to show what you're doing on film. Right, if you're 5'6", I think JUCO is the thing that makes people special, because at that point, God has decided how middle of the road though you are. You could go this way, or you can just go this way, right? So being in that middle of the road, right, you got to work for everything that you get at that point, and that's what junior college, man, will make you do, right? I got a kid who's on the Kansas City Chiefs now, Jeffrey Weimer, and I swear he did almost 6 or 7 years of college. He went to Hartnell. He got a COVID year. He went to San Francisco City. He ended up at UNLV, got injured, left UNLV and went to Virginia, and got injured there. And now I'm watching him on TV with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the coolest thing ever. But he's worked for every moment. He's one of my hardest workers that I've ever trained. So, watching a kid that you've worked with as a 15, 16-year-old kid on national television, right? It feels better than actually me being in the jersey. I swear it does.
Sure.
It's the coolest thing ever, right?
Yeah.
So I love to see that. So it's been a blessing though to watch these kids, right? And I know I'll see it though for the NBA too as well. I got some super talented basketball guys, and there's so many talented kids here at this school, and I think Coach Joseph is the perfect coach. I mean, I love getting to hang out with him all day long, right? Mm-hmm. One of the smartest basketball minds I've met, right? Because he thinks about the game really differently than what I'm used to, right? So just to give him a quick shout out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we got so many coaches here who are just the thing about Coach Joe Lampkin is he's just so available to these kids.
Yeah.
He just wants to be able to help them and work with them, and he's got a passion. He wants to win too, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like coaches. Some coaches are like that too, like kind of like what you're saying. Like they're the ones up early.
Yeah,
100%.
Oh, he's definitely
the right one. They're the ones up early. They're the ones they're late. They're the ones shutting down the gym at night. Like that's, and it's just, we're surrounded by a lot of great people here.
Yeah.
And so when you have coaches like that, take advantage.
There you go.
It's your chance.
Get in here. Get in here.
Not everyone has that. So.
And it's a nice weight room. I like getting in there when I can.
Yeah, it's a great weight room. Yeah.
Oh man, I get people texting me all the time, right? Oh, like, man, that weight room is really special.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it is something else, right?
Yeah,
These guys don't know how blessed they are.
Yeah.
You get in there early, get a lift by yourself before everybody's in there, just spend some time with the Lord and yourself, and
Oh, it's rejuvenated every workout. So like I was at a point to where I was like, almost taking a break, man, on my workouts because the monotony of going to the place that you've been at for so long. Right, and not to mention, man, the drive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The fact that I wear slippers into the gym now in the morning, 6 a.m. all by myself. Right.
Walk back to the house and shower.
Yeah. It's a blessing, right?
Yeah, cool.
I got to do a better job of getting out of there earlier.
Well, and that's a space on campus too. We continue to want to like invest in, make it better. Like we bought a lot of equipment, some stuff Coach wanted. Maybe we'll buy some more. If anyone wants to put some, new weight room for us out there, just let us know. We'll work with you.
Yeah. Just don't put it. Don't make it purple. Like you're talking about, the space matters. Don't make it.
Yeah. No. That's got to stay that way.
Planet Fitness, dude.
I was thinking maybe like one window. Like maybe one or two windows.
So it's not a cave. Now it's kind of cool, like a cave, especially if nobody knows you're in there. You're just working out all by yourself.
It's a beautiful thing.
And then that door opens and somebody comes in. You're kind of like,
oh yeah.
You're like you're like, hey, what's up? But you're like, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's so cool.
Yeah.
No, walking, what's funny, right? I love walking in with the lights off and looking at that blue Mustang on the wall. Yeah. It's the coolest setting ever, right?
It's good.
So
it's good. In our football field, come on. Like Mustang Stadium.
It's one of one.
Yeah.
It's one of one.
It is just I find myself going over there all the time and just
for sure
looking out over.
Everybody else knows the story. You don't, but my wife and I got married in front of the archway, that like Spanish archway with the bell.
Cool.
That was our spot in the field right there. So looking out over and I was coaching baseball, so I'm standing, my wife's walking down the practice field toward me so I'm looking at my wife and all these people that I love, and then I'm also looking at the baseball field in the background. It's like,
oh, that's cool.
It's like,
So so that's when we were playing on this top field.
No, there was a JV field, but
we coached JV to get 10 years ago or whatever. We coached together here. Baseball.
You guys miss coaching or what?
I miss it. Yeah, I miss it for sure.
Killing me.
Yeah, I need to get back in the saddle. I need to get back in. It was hard as little kids, I think I stepped back and I realized, I'm like, dang, it's been 6 years. I need to get back in the saddle.
Yeah, for sure.
I will be returning to coaching, but I feel like right now.
This is not a podcast announcement. Are we making an announcement?
Yeah, not now. Yeah, let me be clear, not right now. But I miss it so bad. It's just right now I feel like we're still in a transitionary period with me being the new AD and everything, and it's not so new anymore, but. Once it feels like we're there, I'll definitely be back on the baseball field, hopefully.
Yeah.
If whoever the new coach will have me. So
that's right. I know I hired you, but would you
let
mind
me coach?
Could I get a hat? And would you mind if I come out here one day a week?
This is a very weird situation for us to be in.
Yeah, totally.
No, it'd be I probably have something to offer.
That's cool. Well, Mo, thank you, man. I'm just going to touch on something you said, and maybe this is when I was talking about at the start of the show where I felt like Monte Vista needed you. You said that, like, seeing your guys, seeing one of your athletes make it to the next level, seeing them in a jersey does more for you than playing did for you. And I think I feel like that's when when you're truly a coach at heart, right? You've made that transition. It's like being a parent, right? And it just fulfills you more. And so I think that's a great, to hear that, just a great quality to have in a coach,
Oh no, it's special. I mean, you know, I got to shout out, man, my guy Evan Vesey, right? Because I seen him. You know, I have a travel 7-on-7 like football club, right? And you know, Evan approached me a couple times, like, Coach Mo, man, what do you think about coming over, man, to Monte Vista? And this is before any of the Dustins and all this other stuff was happening. He was like, Coach Mo, man, I like what you're doing over there, man. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, he was like a salesman, right? It was pretty cool, right?
That's
and
cool.
then, you know, he's such a good kid, right? And I respect him and love, and I really, really love that guy, right? And he's a really, really good leader. And I think with a good quarterback, man, it's going to go a long way. And, you know, I want to shout out Evan, though, for sure. Right.
Nice.
So
That's cool. You
Yeah,
did.
that's awesome.
We tried to do that every show anyhow. We forgot because it's been 3 months. But
Yeah.
we try to shout
There we
out.
go.
Matthew.
We got one.
We got one
Yeah.
listener.
Yeah.
Let him know.
Yeah. At least, well, Evan will listen to this.
That's
for
right.
Sure.
Hey, we gave you a shout out at the very end of the show. That you're in there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. What a great kid.
Yeah,
A lot of good kids at the school.
for sure.
done.
It's kind of awesome to be a part of it. All right.
man.
Well, is that it?
Yeah, I forgot. Hey, check us out anywhere you get your podcast. Right? Spotify, Apple. What else?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple, YouTube.
Yeah.
Check it out, Mustang family.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm just kidding. We don't. I don't even know if that's a. Can you even do that with? Yeah. I guess on
guess.
YouTube. You
I don't
can?
even know where to find the button.
Yeah.
You got to click somewhere. I don't know.
That's funny.
Somebody, one of the students here has to put the thing up on the screen, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Shout
do it.
out to Paul.
All right, there you go.
Paul he edits all our podcasts. Also awesome in the play. And I'm
Nice.
sure he's a great actor, and he like actually gets this out to the internet world.
Shout out, Paul. I got to meet
Yeah.
Paul then. Thank
Yeah.
you, Paul.
All right.
Thank you, Paul. All right, man.
All right. Yeah, let's end
Blessings,
it.
Mo.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks, Mo.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Bye.